So here's the first unit of Stabby Boys. I've decided that as a way to get armies done quickly, I'd get them to like about 75-80% painted. I used to agonize over every little detail, and then I would have an army on the table and it wouldn't even be painted. So going forward, my new philosophy is to get them about 75-80% done. And then when I have time, I can go in and do more edge highlighting and add some of the finer details. So this way I actually have painted models on the battlefield. So that's where we are here. These guys aren't like amazing. I'd say they're like 75% there. But that's just one unit out of the way. The basing is basic right now because I want to do the whole army at the same time. And I also haven't really pinned down what I want to do. So I've kept them simple for now. But they're not too bad. I have this guy here. He's got the banner. I have to still do the edging. But I printed this off of the internet. There's a link. I'll put it in the description if I can find it. So he's got his banner. We got that guy. And for the musician, as I said, I found the original one, and then I lost it, and then I converted one, and then I found the original one, and then somehow I lost the original one again. But I did find the one I converted. He's still got a few more details to hammer out, but I just use some Eldar bits to give him the little plume. And I have to paint the front, obviously. But like I said, just little details. I get these guys, 75% done. And then I can throw them on the battlefield. I also want to print new adapter trays because I don't like these ones. They obviously kind of lifted up while they were printing. But I think that has to do with these things they put in for magnets. So I'll be printing new adapter trays. But yeah, that's the Al-Qatani Fellowship. 75% is done. So I think the next... It's kind of a slog to go through infantry. So I think the next little project I'm going to tackle is actually the galloper gun. So I have one and a partial one. Oops. So I have to find ways to finish these off. I don't know if I'm going to put these guys on anything, or I might, throw another horse in just for like, to put it next to it for terrain or something. So as I said before, I have this cannon that I 3D printed because when I bought the other kit, it didn't have one. And I wasn't going to try and track down a whole nother cannon. Where did I put the cannon? Oh, 1 second. I left the cannon on the other table. So here's one of the original cannons. This is the 3D printed one. It's close enough. I'm not going to try and track down another cannon or a whole nother kit. And then I have these carriages that aren't of use. So I have those. I have the horse here. I 3D printed the tail. He was missing his tail. And I also don't have the head. I found a 3D file of a horse similar to this. So I'll probably print that out. It's nothing fancy, so I'm sure it'll fit right in it. And it's a free file on Thingiverse. So I have him, some of the crew. What I'm thinking on doing is, because of the base sizes of the cannons, I'm not sure what I have to... I might have to do something like this, where I put two of these bases together and have them separate. Or at least somewhere can, they can measure it. Because if I have this, and I have the cannon here, then it fits on there. I just want to have something so people can measure. That way they know, they can see this little break in here and measure. And then if someone's trying to move units past, I can just take this whole base away and be left with that. I'm sure it's not a big deal. I mean, I usually just play with my friends anyway, so I'm sure they wouldn't care. but in the case I brought it to a tournament, I would kind of want it to be like that, so they know where to measure from and if they can move units past. And then I can also put the guys on here, or put some of them up here. So that's the plan for the galloper guns. So I'm probably just gonna keep a lot of this the same. I don't want to redo it. I can just touch it up a bit. I think I want to make the cannon brass, but otherwise I'm not gonna mess with it. It's got brown on it already, so I'll touch those up and we'll be right back with the progress. So here's a little addendum to this quick update video. I've been waiting a while for some bases in the horses, so that's what's been taking a bit. I painted them up in a color that was similar to when they already were painted, the cannons that is. I'm not sure if I like it, so I've kind of been getting frustrated with the project. But that being said, I do have the bases now, so I have it set up like this, so that, as I said before, I can split the horse off in case someone needs to move units by. And the horses I got were the War Games Atlantic General Accoutrements horses. I looked up a ton of reviews on them, and they seem to be a similar size to the old GW horses, but that is not the case. So I figured I'd throw it in just in case anybody was looking. I mean, it's hard to tell, obviously, from videos because I thought they looked so similar. But for this project, they're fine. I'm just stuck with like 30-something horses now. But they don't look too bad pulling the carriage. But if you bring in the other old horse, they're much smaller. And I also bought them to use as possible pistolier horses, but those are already huge. So if you're looking for horses similar in size to those, they're not going to work. They're okay for this because they're just pulling a little cannon. I'll have these guys riding the horses too. They don't look terrible because, again, they're just a cannon crew. They're not like war beasts. So be aware of that if you guys want to pick this kit up. I also 3D printed a horse with the collar, but it's just too like generic, and I don't want two of the same looking horses. So that's that so far. I'm a little frustrated, but it's fine. It's not a big deal. But while I was trying to figure all that out and waiting for the bases, I did work on something for my regular Empire army. This is not for the Dogs of War, but I figured since they are Empire, you guys would be interested to see them in this Empire type of vlog. My Empire army is themed after Ostermark, and one of the special regiments is, I think they're called the Death's Head. I should have looked it up before I started this, but they're called the Death's Head, and previously I had made halberdiers for the Empire army. And I really wanted to put this unit in because it's such a cool idea that if you didn't know, they're like an elite halberd unit that wears skull masks, and they're part of the Ostermark army. So I found a file on my mini factory. I think it's Grimforge Miniatures. I'll put a picture up. They specifically made like this as an add-on to make this unit. So I bought that file. These are the old state troops. I had a bunch of these that I had made my halberdiers out of. As you can see, I had them previously base coated. But I tried to use as many of these halberds as possible. These come with the Free Company kit. I had a bunch of them, because I wanted them to be holding the halberds up. It's hard to rank up, say, like this guy, for example. This is like this state troop kit that is currently available. If you have a whole unit of guys holding the halberds like this, it's impossible to rank them up, even with the bigger base size. So I tried to get as many of the halberds from the Free Company kit as I could. I didn't have many shield holding arms, so I had to source a bunch of them from the Conquistador kit. They're not really the same scale, but there's gonna be a shield in front of the hand, so I really don't care. Trying to find another example. Actually, to bulk out the unit, here, this is you can see this isn't base coated. You can also see the skull face a little better. I'll show these off when I have them base coated. And I also have to add their little feather to the hat, but... And these shields are from Ve Victus, I believe. I tried to find as many skull shields to fit with the skull theme, as I also have this one from the old state troop box that has a skull. So they're really neat, and it's a characterful unit to add to the Empire army. Also, this head is from Grimforge as well. It's hard to see, but they have Conquistador Knights that have skull helmets in the Morian style. And this is basically fully War Games Atlantic Conquistador for the musician. I have bits. I have some great sword bits left over that I'm going to make the champion out of, and I still have to make a standard bearer. But for now, I just figured I'd show off this cool little unit that I decided to work on to kind of break up the annoyance of waiting for the galloper gun stuff. Plus, I also can't concentrate on one thing at a time. But I figured this would be a quick little add-on to show you some more progress on Empire in general and how I'm going with the galloper gun for the Dogs of War project. So stay tuned. I'll have more to come. I have plenty of stuff here that I have to paint and put together and glue. So come back and you'll see a lot more of that. Thanks again. Bye.